On this week's Prime headlines, President Aquino says a conspiracy is behind the Sabah standoff and says the government will go after the groups behind it. Filipino gunmen in Sabah survive a bombing raid and ground offensive by Malaysian security forces. Catholic cardinals named Pope Francis the new pontiff after the two-day conclave. 11 Filipino businessmen made it to Forbes' 2013 list of world billionaires. And tons of web hits made it to this week's Prime Trending Wrap. Is your pick one of them? You are watching Prime News Weekly.
Good afternoon, I'm Jamie Perando.
And I'm Matthew Blicodyong. This is Prime News Weekly. We begin this week's newscast with a 3-week-long standoff in Sabah. President Benigno Aquino III says a conspiracy is behind the Sabah standoff. The government says it will go after the groups that it believes are behind a conspiracy with the Sultanate of Sulu. President Aquino says that Sulu Sultanate Jamalul Kiram III could not have launched the Sabah operation on his own. This comes as a response to criticisms on the government's handling of the Sabah standoff.
Hindi po kakayanin ng angkan ni Sultan Jamalul Kiram III na gawing mag-isa ang ganitong uri ng pagkilos. Kapansin-pansin din ang nag-iisang linya ng mga kritiko para gatungan ang malubhanang sitwasyon. Mulat tayong may mga taong nagkuntsabahan upang humantong tayo sa sitwasyong ito. Isang sitwasyong walang agarang solusyon. Ilan po sa kanila ay nakikita natin, habang ang iba naman ay nagkukubli pa rin sa dilim.
Kiram's followers sailed to Sabah on February 12 to reclaim the territory as their own. On March 1, a shootout between the Filipino group and the Malaysian security forces leaves 14 people dead. Another clash Saturday in Sempora, 300 kilometers from the bloody site of Lahad Datu, raises the death toll to at least 26. Aquino calls on remaining armed Filipino in Sabah to surrender, saying there is no room for negotiations if they continue to bear arms.
Saksi tayong lahat sa kakayahan at dedikasyon ng ating mga kapatid na Muslim. Handa silang makipagtulungan tungo sa pangmatagalang kapayapaan. Hindi pa rin nagbabago ang panawagan ko sa angkan ni Sultan Jamalul Kiram III. Hindi reasonabling humingi ng pangunawa kung nakatutok ang iyong armas sa muka ng iyong kausap.
Aquino also downplays the reported crackdown on Filipinos in Sabah, calling the reports alarmists. He says Malaysia's response against the Filipinos in Sabah should be put in context.
Magprangkahan nga po tayo. Kung baliktad ang sitwasyon at sarili nating komunidad ang pinasok ng sinumang armadong grupo, pwede bang magwalang kibo na lang tayo? Hindi rin ba tayo magpapasaklolo sa pamahalaan? Kahit naman po anong lahi, basta may banta sa kanilang kaligtasan, papalag at gagawa ng paraan upang mailayo ang kanilang mamamayan sa banta ng karahasan.
Filipino gunmen in Sabah survived bombing raid and ground attacks by Malaysian security forces. Sulu Sultanate spokesman Abraham Ijiran says the group moved outside the area before the assaults began. More than 200 armed men loyal to the Sultan refused to leave Sabah for about 3 weeks. Online newspaper The Star quotes Malaysian police sources saying, quote, "The Sulu armed group was totally routed by Malaysian security forces, overwhelming firepower," end of quote. The Filipinos are followers of Sulu Sultan Jamalul Kiram III. They sailed to Sabah on February 12 to reclaim the territory. Malaysian police say the situation is now, quote, "under control," and there are no casualties. Ijiran says he spoke with the leader of the standoff in Sabah to confirm their safety. In a statement, Malaysian Prime Minister Najib Razak says, quote, "The government must take action to defend the country's dignity and sovereignty," end of quote. He adds all efforts to prevent bloodshed have, quote, failed. Shootouts between the Malaysian security forces and the Filipino group first broke on Friday and continued over the weekend, killing at least 27. The criminal case against Senator Panfilo Ping Lacson about the 1995 Coratong Baleleng rob-out was dismissed by the High Courts last Monday. And Amilu Oiko gives us the details live from the Supreme Court. Amilu, what's the latest there?
Yes, Matt, the Supreme Court dismisses with finality the murder case linking former National Police Chief and now Senator Panfilo Lacson to the 1995 Coratong Baleleng rob-out. In a ruling dated January 15 and released Monday, the court denies the motion for reconsideration on the dismissal of the case against Lacson and 33 other policemen accused of killing members of the Coratong Baleleng gang. The Supreme Court says there is, quote, no substantial arguments were presented to warrant the reversal of the questioned decision. And that's the latest from the Supreme Court. Back to you, Matt.
Thank you very much, Amilu. That was Amilu Oiko reporting live from the Supreme Court.
Election stories now. The Diocese of Bacolod last February 28 urges voters not to choose 7 senatorial candidates for supporting the reproductive health law before going to the midterm political arena. Calling them Team Patay or the Death Team, the diocese named Senators Loren Legarda, Chis Escudero, Alan Peter Cayetano, former Akbayan Representative Risa Hontiveros, Cagayan Representative Jack Enrile, Aurora Representative Sonia Angara, and Bayan Muna Representative Teddy Casino in its campaign. 5 of the candidates are from administration slate Team Pinoy. Jed Kadsawan files this report.
Team Pinoy is in Bacolod City in Negros Occidental, a vote-rich province with about 1.5 million voters. The province is known as Danding Country, the territory of Nationalist People's Coalition or the NPC founder Danding Coangco. 5 of the 7 legislative districts here are controlled by his party mates. The other 2 belong to the Liberal Party.
While the Liberal Party and NPC are coalition allies, this province cannot be expected to deliver 12-0 victory for the Team Pinoy slate.
2 NPC members are running for the Senate. Re-election is Senator Legarda is running under Team Pinoy, but Cagayan Representative Jack Enrile is running under rival slate United Nationalist Alliance or UNA. This province is expected to carry both Legarda and Enrile, but there's a new development that could threaten Legarda and Enrile's advantage in this vote-rich province. The Diocese of Bacolod City urged voters here to junk 7 senatorial candidates, including Senator Legarda and Representative Enrile, for supporting the reproductive health law, a measure that the Catholic Church vigorously opposed.
It's going to be a battle between powerful political party and influential Catholic Church. Negros Occidental could prove or disapprove if the Catholic vote exists. Jed Kadsawan, Prime News.
Team Pinoy senatorial candidate Cynthia Villar apologizes to the Filipino nurses for her statement on them. Villar tweets her apology. She says in Filipino, "I sincerely apologize to all the nurses and their families who were hurt by my response to the question I was asked on TV." In a senatorial forum on GMA News TV, economist Winnie Monsod asked Villar to explain why she opposed the move to close nursing schools that did not pass the standards of the Commission on Higher Education or CHED. Villar, who is chairman of the House Committee on Higher Education, explains she favors the student who wanted to continue their schooling. But a part of her response became controversial. She said in Filipino, "The nurses do not need to finish Bachelor of Science in Nursing because they only want to become room nurses." But the Villar thinks she was badly misunderstood.
Question na lang po, kung ganun pala ang istorya, bakit bumaba pa ang mga nurses na na-employ sa abroad kasi hindi sila qualified? In other words, if it's only a matter of investment, bakit po hindi sila ma-employ? At bakit po nag-resign ang Technical Nursing Education Committee at saka nag-resign after only 7 months in office? Do you think they just did not understand?
No, there was Yung pagre-resign po ni Father is a personal quarrel with the owner of a school. Medyo personal po yon. Pero yung amin po, ay sinasabi po namin sa kanila na actually, hindi naman kailangan ang nurse ay matapos ng BSN. Kasi itong ating mga nurses, gusto lang nilang maging room nurse. O sa Amerika or sa other countries, ano lang sila, yung parang aalaga. Hindi naman sila kailangan ganun kagaling kasi sa ibang countries.
Activists file an appeal before the Commission on Elections Wednesday to investigate President Benigno Aquino III. The groups say Aquino used government funds to campaign for the administration ticket. In a letter to COMELEC Chair Sixto Brillantes, the groups slam Aquino for, quote, allegedly distributing PhilHealth cards and rice to residents in Bohol last February 14. The same day, opposition group United Nationalist Alliance held its Bohol sortie. The group says the distribution should have been done before the election period by public health officials, not the president and his allies. In a statement last Thursday, PhilHealth says the allegation is grossly inaccurate and that the cards were local government-initiated health cards. Presidential spokesman Edwin Lasierda says the cards were given to beneficiaries of the Moro Islamic Liberation Front as a gesture of goodwill. The Omnibus Election Code prohibits the use of public funds for an election campaign. Cardinals all around the world gather at the Vatican City to elect a new pope. More stories when we return. You are watching Prime News Weekly. Stay tuned.
It was a very memorable experience naming dalawa kasi plano namin, simple wedding lang, pero yung kinalabasan niya, extraordinary one.
Kinagabihan pala ng wedding namin, August 7, grabe na talaga yung ulan nun.
Yung mga attend ng kasal namin kasi nanghihingi sila ng confirmation kung tutuloy ba namin yung kasal kasi sobrang taas na din ng tubig. Pati yung photographer po kasi tinatanong kung tuloy ba namin yung kasal kasi medyo may tubig pa. Ang dami na namin nare-receive na calls, pati kaming dalawa nagtatawagan.
Pero ang nire-reply namin sa kanila, tuloy talaga ang kasal kahit na ano mangyari. Buti na nga lang kamo, nakapag-register na kami agad dun nung kinagabihan pa lang ng...
Naka-only na kami parehas.
Naka-all-net na kami, combo ng blue.
Kaya hindi masyadong hassle. Yung pagtitext namin, pagtatawagan sa ibang naming mga kasali sa kasal.
Pagpasok ko ng simbahan, parang...
Hindi ko alam na nag-march pala lahat ng entourage ko sa sa tubig.
Bago po kami labas ng simbahan, sinalubong po kami ng mga tao na nakakita sa amin. Talagang na-amaze sila, nagulat sila. Kaya yun, nag-request sila ng ng kiss.
Pero talagang tama yung sinabi ni Father na for better or for worse, through thick or thin.
Through texts and calls.
Tama, natuloy din yung kasal namin. We're glad to be Globe.
Lazada.com.ph, the Philippines online shopping mall. Just click and we deliver right to your door with over 10,000 items to suit your lifestyle. It's the safe, easy, and convenient way to shop. Lazada.com.ph.
This is George. He is a good little monkey and always very curious. One day, George got an important letter. He's built a rocket ship to travel into space. It's just the right size for a clever monkey. Do you want to go into space, George? You will have to be very brave.
Hi, Grandma.
Oh, hi, my little monkey.
Here.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Everyone got on and they were off to the launching site.